As the moon cast long shadows across the moor, our tale continues, following the perilous steps of our would-be heroes, or perhaps doomed fools, into the black heart of the Barrowmaze. Hak Tor, grim-faced dwarf with steel in his bones. Sir Raddeus, cleric of St. Yig, bearer of the Red Cross. Galfast Hamhead, halfling cook and fire-starter of no small renown. And Sir Toldrin, paladin of the Crimson Cross, flanked by his torchbearer, Neddy. The morning fog clung low and thick, cold as a corpse's breath, draping the ancient barrows in its choking veil. They had just survived a brutal clash with monstrous toads. Harv, their hireling, left behind in bloody ruin, his arm torn clean from the socket. His lifeblood stained the earth. His body, still warm, lay as a warning. There was no time to mourn. The party scoured his remains for clues of kin, found none, and hastily stacked stones into a cold makeshift grave. Sir Raddeus offered a trembling prayer to St. Yig, seeking light for the fallen, and then they pressed on. The moor swallowed them, each footstep sinking into black peat. The world narrowed to fog and breath and heartbeat. Then they saw it, a whisper through the mist, a low cairn, ancient markers, half swallowed by time, like lichen-covered teeth jutting from the earth. They followed them deeper, silent stones whispering of doom. Drawn onward by the strange, archaic cairns, they ventured further into the depths of the barrow mounds. Their boots sinking into the receding black peat, the adventurers followed them through the mire, over mounds of earth. With weapons at the ready, they crept forward, every sense on alert for the sounds and smells of potential danger. After an hour and a half of arduous trekking through the unforgiving barrows, the oppressive fog, thick and cold, clung to them, muffling the sounds of their passage and obscuring their vision until they saw it in the distance, a glimmer through the roiling grey. The faint silhouette of a barrow mound was barely visible through the swirling, ghostly mist ahead, its shape hinting at ancient secrets. Rings of etched standing stones surrounded it, symbols long forgotten. At the entrance, a shattered slab door lay face down in the mud. Whatever lay inside had broken out. Bones littered the grass, skulls, some shattered. A foul stench of 1,000 rotten corpses rolled from the black moor ahead. Neddy lit a torch. They descended the stone stairs. Inside, rough-hewn walls circled a chamber littered with bones. A massive pit lay in the center, ringed by ancient stone columns. A rusty block and tackle suspended overhead with a rope descending into the abyss. A chill, like icy fingers, ran down Raddeus's spine, an intense premonition settling in his gut. In the harsh, flickering light of the torch, the pit yawned before him, an eerie reminder of the paladin's prophetic warning. Raddeus repeating the words, his voice, low and trembling, barely audible, echoed with a strange resonance off the ancient moss-covered stone walls, each syllable seeming to hang in the damp air. We delve too deep. They have it. The key. Beware the pit. They're controlling. Those words burned like a foul reminder. Could this be the perilous pit foretold by the paladin? Could this be the location of their descent into the infernal depths? They gathered their resolve and huddled around the pit, peering into the blackness. No turning back now. Hak Tor removed a flask of oil from his pack and poured it on the rusty pulleys, hoping to quiet their descent. He offered to be lowered down first and have a look around with his dwarven sight for signs of danger, telling his companions with a serious tone, "One tug for safety, 2 tugs for danger, pull me back, and no tugs. Well, don't come down to save me." 35 feet down, boots thudded against stone. Silence. Cold. 1 tug. Safe. One by one they followed. The air was thick with the stench of death. Frescoes lined the walls, processions of the dead beneath the earth. Bootprints led through a crumbling archway into darkness. Their path split, north or deeper forward? They chose north. There, a thick wooden door. Warning the others with a raised hand, Hak Tor cautiously approached the door. His keen eyes scanned the object for any sign of a trap. His fingers, sensitive and skilled, searching for the faintest pressure plate, the slightest hint of a tripwire, or a hidden mechanism cleverly concealed within the doorframe. He could almost smell the danger. He studied it closely, the flickering torchlight painting his face in shifting light and shadow, as his eyes focused intently. After several moments, he pauses. He points to a flagstone on the floor just before the door. Its color was slightly darker than the others, almost indiscernible. Watch out for that stone. It may be a trigger. With a clang, Sir Toldrin draws his sword, pushes open the heavy oak door, carefully avoiding the spot Hak Tor had indicated, and steps into the room, the silence broken only by the creak of the hinges. He quickly scans the room. It seems empty, but small, as Neddy's torchlight is able to illuminate it fully. A second door is located on the wall directly across from them. Hak Tor, weapons drawn and eyes sharp, stayed close to Toldrin's side. As the dwarf crosses the threshold, a smooth, cool stone depresses slightly beneath his heavy boot, making a faint, almost imperceptible clicking sound that sends a shiver down his spine. The next moment's happening in a blur all at once. The door across the room flies open with a cracking slam. Then the enemy came. The sound of scraping stone as a slab begins to slam down in the doorway behind, cutting off Toldrin and Hak Tor from the rest of the group, Toldrin screaming out to his companions just as the stone entombs them in darkness. Skeletal warriors burst through the far door, rusted blades raised, eyes burning with necrotic flame, armor pitted, bones cracked, but driven by some malevolent force. Toldrin and Hak Tor met them in the breach. Toldrin lit his torch, shield braced, blade ready. They fought as one, the paladin a wall of faith and fury, Hak Tor a whirlwind of dwarven steel. For every skeleton they shattered, more came, 6, 7, more, then steel-bit flesh. Hak Tor was stabbed low, a rusted short sword piercing his gut, scraping through plate mail and biting deep into flesh. Steel met spine. The dwarf gasped, spittle and blood bubbling from his lips as the pain ripped through him like fire. Blood spilled down his mail. The skeleton pressed in, pushing the blade deeper with unnatural strength. Its bones creaked and popped as it leaned close, until its eyeless skull was mere inches from Hak Tor's face. Twin points of purple flame pulsed within its sockets, flaring brighter with each heartbeat the dwarf lost. The stench hit him, rot and grave moss, like spoiled meat left in the sun. From its shattered jaw, flecks of old flesh still clung, twitching with some foul animus. The thing's lipless maw twisted into a snarling grin. Its voice was nothing but the wind over a tombstone. Hak Tor clenched his teeth, blood spilling from the corner of his mouth. He grabbed the skeletal warrior's collarbone with one hand, dragging it even closer, until their skulls nearly touched. "Not today!" he growled. And with a last surge of strength, he head-butted the creature with all his might, cracking bone and splitting skin across his brow. The skeleton reeled back, but the blade remained buried to the hilt in his side. Hak Tor stumbled, knees buckling. The next skeleton came in low, slipping beneath Toldrin's sword arm like a serpent of bone and iron. Its blade, notched and orange with rust, screeched as it scraped along his greave, then plunged upward with savage precision, slamming into the gap beneath his breastplate. The paladin grunted, his breath stolen. A wet crunch followed as the blade tore through chain links and found flesh. Pain flared white-hot, and his shield faltered for the first time, the holy symbol of St. Yig slick with blood. His hand still gripped his sword, and the light within it flared, as if in defiance. "By Yig's flame," he whispered, "I am not done." With a roar, Toldrin rose, wrenching himself off the blade with sheer will. The wound screamed in protest, But the paladin did not fall. The skeleton raised its sword again, but this time it met a full swing of divine steel, and in a burst of holy fire it shattered, its bones scattered like ash on the wind. Toldrin stood swaying, blood staining his armor, pain threatening to swallow him whole. Outside, Galfast investigated the strange flagstone. His curiosity led to discovery. A hidden lever. He pried it loose, pulled. The slab door groaned open. Raddeus and Neddy raced in, just in time. 3 skeletons remained, and Hak Tor bled heavily. Raddeus dropped to his knees, holy symbol raised. "O light unyielding by your flame, cast out the dead." Radiance exploded from his outstretched hands, but the skeletons resisted, purple fire flaring defiantly in their sockets. They did not yield. Galfast reached into his pack, pulled an oil flask, and met Neddy's eyes. "You thinkin' what I'm thinkin'." He hurled the flask. Neddy tossed the torch. Fire roared. 1 skeleton disintegrated in an instant. The others burned, swords raised, advancing still. But their strength faded and they crumbled at last, collapsing into ash and flame, brittle bones clattering to the floor. Silence returned. Ash fell like snow. Hak Tor slumped in the doorway, blood on his beard. Toldrin stood beside him, sword lowered, breath ragged. "That door stays closed," the paladin growled. "And I'm the bloody lock," Hak Tor muttered, spitting a tooth onto the stone. And that, dear listeners, is where our tale is paused, for now.